All right, I think we'll get started. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for jumping on here today. I know there's lots of webinars going on, so we do appreciate you taking the time to sit in on this one. We are going to make it worth your while. There's lots of great information that we're going to be covering here today, but we'll also, as promised, be making a free sample available to everybody who sits through the entire presentation. You've got 40 styles to choose from the Essentials collection. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, and we'll also share contact information afterwards and the recording as well. So you don't really need to take notes, but feel free to do so if you feel so inclined. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kyle Annable. I am the VP of Sales. If any of you guys have any questions throughout this presentation, go ahead and type it into the chat box, and my colleagues Matthew and Tom will try to address those as quickly as possible. Unless there's any questions right at the top, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And today we will be covering, this is sort of the first part of a two-part webinar series from Stormtech. So today we're going to be covering what we call, or I call, the Stormtech difference, which is basically our core competencies as far as the product categories are concerned, as far as the services that we offer. And we're also going to take a look at some of the general trends that have emerged throughout the pandemic and how Stormtech is positioned to deal with some of the issues and challenges of the day. So the webinar today is really geared more towards customers that are perhaps newer to the brand, newer to the Stormtech brand, or simply need a refresher on some of our core competencies. Part 2 of this webinar series will kick off on March 23rd. And in that webinar, we'll be focusing in on sort of new initiatives for spring 22. Particularly, we're going to be doing a deep dive on sustainability and the new products for spring 22. In this presentation, we're going to be covering sort of our company history, who we are, what we're made of, where we come from, our approach to product design and technology, sustainability and social responsibility, big hot button issues right now, marketing and positioning. So some of the marketing collateral that we make available to you guys and how we would recommend that you position our brand in the market. Brand viability, this is a big issue right now. A lot of brands are either pulling out of the promo channel or making it very difficult to operate in the promo channel. Obviously, that presents a great opportunity for us. Inventory and supply chain. And then we'll finish today with a very top-level overview of products. So not doing a deep dive in any specific style, but taking a sort of a 10,000 feet look at the general categories that we focus in on at Stormtech and how we're positioned in the market with those categories. So in terms of the company history, where we all come from, most of you probably already know Stormtech is a Canadian-based company. It was founded by my father, so it's very much a family-owned and operated business. This is Blake Annable, the founder here, doing his best modeling job in the early 80s, where he had a lot more hair back then. Down on the far left here, you see Stormtech's first distribution center, the old Starsky and Hutch Sprinter van. And obviously, the company has evolved since then significantly. 45 years later, we're still family-owned and operated. We're one of the largest promotional apparel supplier companies in Canada. Certainly one of the fastest growing in the US right now. We do expect to climb the ranks pretty significantly on the ASI Top 40 list. And our products are now being distributed in over 50 countries around the world and stocked in almost 24 countries around the world. And before the chat box gets filled with questions about how to access the inventory here, the short answer to the question of can you avoid duties and can you avoid international freight rates is yes, but only if you have companies registered in these countries. So if you have a company registered in Australia, in EU, in the UK, you can definitely pull from our warehouses in those facilities, and you can avoid duties and international freight rates. If you do not have companies registered abroad, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for you to access the inventory globally. In terms of our approach to product development, I always lead with this because this is a big differentiator for Stormtech. If you have seen the line before, you'll know that we're not we're not a traditional uniform commodity line. That's not our MO, never will be our MO. There's lots of really great suppliers in the promotional product space that deal in $5 t-shirts and $10 button downs, and those are great suppliers in the industry to source those types of products from. That's not us. In terms of styling and quality, everything that we design is designed for retail. So we know that there's a lot of brands, trade good brands in the industry that use terms like fashion forward, retail oriented, and for the most part, a lot of those brands really do not stack up to the best brands in retail. I might be biased, but we feel confident that ours do. We always consider, when we're designing a product, does this compete with the better known brands at retail? And if the answer is no, then we'll do some tweaking before we deliver it to the promo market. So there's a real emphasis on technology and performance, whether it's a t-shirt or a waterproof jacket. There's always going to be some type of sophisticated technology incorporated into the products that we introduce. So some of these you may be familiar with: H2 Extreme, which is our waterproof breathable technology; H2X Dry, which is moisture management and anti-snag technology; feather-free, PFC-free DWR coatings, and UVX sun protection. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on the technology. The three that you see at the bottom left here: Pure Earth, Polygene Stay Fresh, and BCI. These are new fabric technologies and sourcing practices that we are going to do a deep dive on the March 23rd webinar series. These are all part of our more sustainable sourcing practices that we've implemented in a big way in spring 22. But suffice to say, Stormtech is a fairly technical line, which works to our advantage when people are looking for very heavy winter weight gear and foul weather gear. But unfortunately, I think in the US, we're often pigeonholed as, being a great supplier for this type of gentleman here who's traversing the Arctic with snow hitting him in the face sideways. And don't get me wrong, we still produce a ton of very technical gear. We still have the largest collection of foul weather gear in the industry, and certainly the largest collection of heavy winter weight garments in the industry. And technology is still going to be a very key component to our product development strategy and our design DNA. But the brand really has evolved over the last 5 years from being strictly an outerwear, technical outerwear supplier, to really more of a what I would call technical lifestyle brand. So we have a ton of these urban streetwear options that you see on the left. A lot of corporate casual pieces, again, not like your basic Oxford button down, more like the lightweight flannel that I'm wearing, and products that you'd see from like Patagonia, Club Monaco, Banana Republic. We've got a ton of athleisure pieces, work leisure pieces, and we've actually introduced more bags over the last 3 years than we have apparel items. So this is a huge category for us. The big focus, though, for the last few years has been sustainability. How can we source our practices and products and design our practices in products in more sustainable ways? And this has been a big focus for us. And quite frankly, this is a big focus for most of your clients, I would imagine. This is from KPMG's 2020 report, where they indicated 80% of the leading companies around the world are now reporting on sustainability. So this is kind of a hot button issue that really suppliers, distributors for the most part, can no longer ignore. We've kind of reached the tipping point as far as sustainability is concerned. And I really don't think there's any going back on this. And we're well positioned to kind of meet that trend. These are some of the things that we have implemented in the past, and I'll kind of walk you through the trajectory here. These are things that we've always implemented and things that we've implemented over the last few years. So always implemented rigorous testing on our fabrics to mitigate the risk to human health and the environment. We're compliant. We're working with compliant factories across the board and mills. We introduced our PFC-free campaign in the spring 2018, mandating that none of our mills, none of our factories could use perfluorinated compounds, which are used widely in the retail world and have proved to be very harmful to the environment. For over a decade, we have not used any feather or fur. In spring, this past spring, We implemented Polygene Stay Fresh technology, which is a technique that allows you to wear the garment more and wash it less, so you can reduce your carbon footprint after you purchase the product. But I think the most salient or important talking point about the brand, and it applies to every product we'd ever produced, is that we're not a fast fashion brand. And a lot of brands, a lot of products, particularly in textiles in our industry, are. They're made in factories that may or may not be compliant, where they ramp up production very, very quickly to meet the sort of prevailing trend of the day. You wear it once, you wear it twice, and then it ends up in a landfill. And that is a very vicious cycle in the textile world, particularly as the environment is concerned. And again, that has never been our MO, never will be our MO. There's a reason we have a 5-year manufacturer's warranty. We really, really stand behind the quality of our products. So that's what we've implemented. This is what is being implemented right now. So we're transitioning all of our catalogs, all of our boxes, inbound and outbound, all of our hang tags. We have switched to FSC certified recycled or mixed recycled paper. And the inbound and outbound poly bags and garment bags that we are using now are OXO biodegradable. But the big push in this sustainability initiative for us happened this season in spring 22, when we launched what we call the Pure Earth Sustainability Collection. And this is a collection of products that is made from either recycled polyester, so polyester that's made from recycled pop bottles, essentially, BCI cotton, so cotton that's been sourced under the Better Cotton Initiative, or a combination of the two, so made from both recycled polyester and BCI cotton. So this is something we're very, very excited about. We're very excited to be introducing our first collection of truly sustainable fabrics into the promotional products market. And this is what the webinar on March 23rd will really be about, promoting sustainability and talking about this new collection. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you register for that webinar. I will send the invite after this presentation. A lot of yourselves and your clients will also be looking to work with vendors that have some type of give back program. Some of you may or may not be familiar already with the Stormtech 1-to-1 initiative. This is a pledge that we made back in the spring of 2018 to donate 1% of our global sales in the form of product donations to charities that work with at-risk youth. And we started with 2 organizations, really, Street to Peak and Take a Hike Foundation. And this has really sort of gained momentum, snowballed over the years, to the point now where we have a huge sort of kaleidoscope of charities and charitable organizations that we're working with. And this has really resonated with our customers, even the general consumer base. And the biggest one, probably the most visible donation we made was just before the holidays last year, where we donated $600,000 in apparel to those who were displaced by the devastating floods in Vancouver, BC, which is my hometown, which is where Stormtech is headquartered. A lot of us had friends or loved ones who were impacted by this. So that was, that was something that was very close and near and dear to our hearts. And I was just floored at the number of emails, calls that we received about this donation. And then we've also introduced what we call the Pure Earth Project. So this is kind of expanding the scope of our Give Back program. So in addition to supporting organizations that work with at-risk youth, we're going to be supporting environmental organizations, not just through donations of gear, but also promoting awareness, donating funds, and volunteerism. So most recently, we partnered with the Pacific Salmon Foundation. We collaborated with them on Giving Tuesday, which is just after Cyber Monday. They saw a 200% increase in donations, and 94% of those came from new donors, which we matched. So all the donations that were raised, Stormtech matched in just one day. I think it was over $20,000. And so this message obviously resonates with our customers, but it's actually gone even further than that, to the point now where the general consumer base recognizes our product, recognizes the quality, and recognizes what we're doing in terms of things like sustainability and supporting the community. And that's created a sort of this army of brand ambassadors from all over the world that are providing us with really compelling content, storytelling, photography, professionally shot photos in really dynamic landscapes. This is one we really leaned into this past season. It's an elite sailing team that went from France to Martinique, over 4,600 miles, and we followed them, outfitted them. Our logo was even on the on their sailboat, and got great content from these brand ambassadors. And that's really important because one of the things I always hear from distributors is, Kyle, I get your brand, I recognize the quality, but how do I convince my client to purchase your product when they're so, hell bent on purchasing Patagonia and North Face? And the answer to that is the content that these brand ambassadors are providing to us is available to you in many ways. In our email marketing campaigns, there will always be something at the bottom where you can click and download the campaign assets. And those include images that are formatted for social media. If you just want a quick hit to push out, it's peppered into our corporate catalog. And every year we win, best catalog, or at least, top 3 best catalogs in the industry. In our flip books, in our hype videos, everything that we're doing is fundamentally different than what you're getting from a lot of promotional product suppliers, in the sense that the message isn't buy one, get one free, or this is the best value for your buck. It's about storytelling, dynamic imagery, lifestyle shots. It's about people telling us how their experiences have been elevated by exceptional apparel. And all of this information and all of these assets are available to you. And if you haven't already noticed, we have launched a totally brand new website, stormtechperformance.com. Go check it out. Real-time inventory, tracking, a whole host of tools there. But the one I use a lot and the one I refer to a lot is called the Download Center. And in the Download Center, that is where you will find a lot of these assets. Lifestyle photos, photos that are formatted for social media, all of our spring product shots, these really cool tile shots that you can use to sort of build a flip book, and of course, model shots as well. And that's really important because now you can paint a picture, really paint the brand story around Stormtech. And that's becoming increasingly important because, as many of you may have noticed, brands are becoming less and less viable in the promotional product space. And I never like to pick on any one brand, and the reality is I could have put any brand up here. You're probably all seeing the same trends. I know we are. Some brands are prohibiting the sales of all co-branded products, so they've just completely pulled out. Some are restricting the use of any permanent logos or just making it very difficult to decorate the product. Most of them are not offering core retail styles. So it's slower movers, discontinued product, or product that's designed specifically as a sort of strategic takedown in terms of quality from what they're selling in the retail market. Some are limiting the number of authorized distributors. So maybe you used to be able to buy a brand direct from the brand itself. Now you have to buy it through a wholesaler, or worse, through another distributor. Some are limiting inventory available to the corporate market, and a lot of them are exclusively servicing the retail and direct-to-consumer channel. And that makes sense given the supply chain issues. If you can only get your hands on a finite amount of inventory, you're going to make that inventory available first to the retail channel because you're beholden to the retailers, and there's a marketing angle there. You want placement in these these flagship retail stores, and the direct-to-consumer channel where you can make a full margin selling full MSRP direct to the consumer. The corporate channel is not the priority. So the global supply chain issues that you're seeing right now are disproportionately impacting these brands and your ability to sell these brands. And of course, that is welcome news to Stormtech because the net effect really is that brands have elevated the consumer expectations. It wasn't too long ago that when people thought, or the general consumer thought about promotional apparel, they just thought, okay, that's a t-shirt, that's a price point, fleece or soft shell. The brands that have gotten in have really elevated the expectations of customers. They know that they can get premium outerwear now. And that push for premium was really accelerated during the pandemic. And again, this is something that has kind of really benefited Stormtech. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen that people were not buying the cheap and cheerful. If they were buying something, they wanted something nice, something they felt good about wearing, not just on a webinar, but outside when they went camping and hiking because they couldn't go, indoors anywhere. It had to be built for performance. And that the void that has created, the void that has been created by a lot of these brands that have turned away from promo has obviously been, we've capitalized on that significantly. And those that remain offer little to no margin, inconsistent inventory availability, and very restrictive terms and conditions. And this is coming at a great time for us because I don't know if you've read this report. It just came out, I think, a couple weeks ago. This is ASI's ad impressions study, which measures which promotional products are most influential. In other words, which products, when given away or sold to a consumer, will influence them to do business with an advertiser. 39,000 surveys. This is from Q4 2021. So this past sort of holiday season. And unequivocally, the #1 most influential promotional product in the US based on the most recent data is outerwear. And incidentally, performance wear is #2. That's a big category, as well as masks. But go down the demographics. Outerwear is the #1 or #2 spot in virtually every category. For men, outerwear is the most influential. Women, outerwear. 18 to 24, outerwear. 25 to 34. Outerwear is second only to performance wear, two of our biggest categories. And then it's all outerwear. Outerwear, 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 outerwear. So this is a category that you really cannot afford to ignore, but it's a category that is becoming increasingly difficult to get your hands on. And if you're new to Stormtech, or even if you have customers that are typically gravitate towards some of these other retail brands, we've kind of served this up to you. We've got some great tools. The one brand that we butt heads against, for lack of a better term, most frequently is Patagonia. They had a big presence in the corporate channel. Then they implemented a policy where you couldn't put permanent logos on the product, and that was quite frankly a lob ball over home plate for us. So we capitalized on that. We created what we call a brand comparison document. This is just a screen grab. This is actually a pretty significant document with lots of styles on it. I'll share this afterwards, and it compares our products versus the ones that are available by Patagonia in the corporate channel. It's an interactive document, so you can click on any of these styles, and it will take you to a detailed comparison of these products. So that, I think, will help arm you with the ammunition that you need to sell up against the retail brands. And I think it's important for everybody to sort of understand these talking points. And this is what I refer to as the Stormtech difference. This is how you set us apart, particularly from the brands in retail. So it's important to note that we have the largest assortment of premium apparel and bags in the industry. There's over 500 styles to choose from, and it's not just outerwear. It's fleece, it's hoodies, it's polos, tees, bags, and packs. Our sizing goes up to 5XL with no upcharges. So in almost every style, in black, navy, and or gray, we're going up to 5XL with no upcharges. And we have a matching ladies companion piece for almost everything in the line. And I know those 2 points sound like table stakes, but you'd be surprised how difficult it can be to find a retail brand that will A, go up to 5XL, and B, have a matching ladies companion piece. We offer in-house decoration, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on, with no co-branding restrictions, free shipping programs, and subsidized air and expedited. And this is a big one. Pricing is marked on an A. One of the two things we always hear about brands is, one, there's no inventory, and B, I can't make money selling it. With our line, everything that you see on all the MSRP prices that you see in a catalog, the website, those are marked on an A. So if you're a brand new customer to Stormtech, you're going to get a 50% discount off the regular wholesale. Okay, so it's a $300 MSRP item. Your net is $150. Okay? If you're a customer that's been supporting us for a while, you'll get even larger discounts. So you can make a lot of money selling this line. And the last point here, which is a big one, deep inventory. So this is obviously the biggest headache for most distributors and most suppliers over the last 2 years. And we took a very sort of fundamentally different approach leading into the pandemic. A lot of suppliers pulled back. A lot of suppliers canceled their POs at the outset of the pandemic. We did the complete opposite. We doubled down. We tripled down on our top sellers. It was actually a purchasing strategy that we call our inventory assurance, where we look at our top sellers, what we call our AA or inventory assurance styles. we want to have 2 to 3 years worth of inventory sitting on the shelf. So if we sell 5,000 units or 10,000 units of a particular soft shell in black, we will, on one purchase order, buy 10 to 15,000 units of that style. So if we get a 5,000 piece pop, we'll still have inventory on the shelf. And that has been the biggest difference maker for Stormtech over the last 2 years, and one of the reasons why we've had record years back to back, because we have had the inventory when other suppliers have not. And in 2022, we have made the largest inventory spend in company history. Okay, last year was the previous record. We have 30% more inventory coming in than 2021. So we are going to be in a very, very strong inventory position this year. And the last point, which I think is really important, the corporate channel is our #1 priority. So you guys are getting this inventory. It's not going to a retailer. It's not going to our direct-to-consumer channel. You guys are the #1 priority. You're going to have access to this inventory before anybody else does. So how do you find the inventory? Well, if you haven't gone to the website already, I recommend that you do so. We've added a new tab here. Hopefully you can see that, called Deep Inventory. These are any styles. This is a list of any style that has deep inventory in black, navy, and or gray. And it's monitored every 2 weeks and updated every 2 weeks. So if you have an opportunity and you need inventory right away, just make sure you're going to the deep inventory section of our site. And just as a reminder, the inventory is available in real time for all styles, not only what we have on hand, but what is incoming on the next shipment. So this isn't all of the shipments that are coming in. This is just what's coming in on the next shipment, this line in orange, and when it's going to arrive. So if you're ever, waiting to hear back from a rep or customer service rep, just know that information is available to you pre-login. You don't even need to log in. Supply chain and logistics. This is another thorn in everybody's side, and quite frankly, I think a lot of people are sick and tired of talking about it. The reality is the global supply chain issues are going to persist, and for the foreseeable future. The good news, at least for Stormtech and for everybody on this call here today and your customers, is that we, Stormtech, have a very significant advantage in this regard for a number of reasons. One, unlike the wholesalers that are carrying 20, 30, 40 brands, Nike, Adidas, Marmot, Columbia, you name it, they're trying to manage the supply chain for all those brands, all those factories, all those countries, and all the issues that are taking place in those countries. We have one brand, Stormtech. That is it. We're managing the supply chain for one brand. And we have a lot of pull with these factories because we don't have 100 factories all over the world that we need to deal with. We're trying to consolidate our manufacturing as much as possible with reliable factories. So we have a lot more pull. And it's a lot easier to manage, just wrap your arms around that supply chain model. Another big one, our products are offloaded at the port of Vancouver. So you could go and you might want to do this. I did a live cam shot of the port of Long Beach right now. You might have 500 container ships off the coast versus a live cam shot of the Vancouver port where we might have 15 container ships off the coast. So we're just not having to deal with the major port congestions that a lot of our US competitors are having to deal with right now. The goods are offloaded at the port of Vancouver, and our DC is in Vancouver. So we're not having to also wait for congestion to get the product on the rail system. We bypass the rail system completely. It's offloaded in Vancouver. We don't have congestion at the ports, not nearly as much as the congestion you have in Long Beach. And it doesn't have to wait to then go on a train. It's delivered by truck to our facility in Vancouver. We also offer seamless cross-border service. So some of you may have customers in Canada, and when you try to service those customers, it seems like you're dealing with two very different companies when you're trying to purchase, something from a U.S. distributor and then a U.S. supplier and then their counterpart in Canada. That's not the case with us. Okay, you'll be dealing with the same contacts. It's the exact same products offered on both sides of the border. You don't need to jump through hoops to get set up. I could get you set up right away without any paperwork. And we offer the same decoration services on both sides of the border. So you can decorate in Canada or decorate in the US and ship to customers in those respective countries without having to pay duties and without having to pay international freight rates. So just very quickly, what does our freight program look like? I think it's important to address because I think there's lots of misconceptions still. The majority of our product is still shipping from Vancouver, BC. Now that's going to change for the US market fairly soon, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for the most part, the majority of our products at this time are still shipping from Vancouver. Okay, so let's just break it down. Orders are under 300 wholesale. We have flat rates for both ground, expedited, and air. For ground service, the most you're ever going to pay with Stormtech is $12.50 on our program to ship anywhere in continental US. If you cannot wait 5 days to get it here or 6 days to get it here, we can ship it 2-day, expedited. UPS and FedEx are not really living up to 2-day these days, so let's call it 2 to 3 days. The rate, it's a flat rate of $25, and if you want to get it there overnight, it's $35. Okay, so flat rates, very easy, very simple to build that into your cost structure. Orders over $300. Anything over 300 wholesale automatically qualifies for free shipping. Again, if you can't wait 5 to 6 days, ship on our program. We'll tack on 4.5% and we'll ship it expedited. Okay, so if it's a $1,000 order, you can get it there in 2 to 3 days for $45. If it's a $1,000 order and you need it overnight, that'll cost you $90. So make sure when you're working with Stormtech that you're using our program, because we have very, very effective, cost-effective solutions for our US customers. In either case, whether you're shipping in the US or Canada, you'll never be charged duties, you'll never be charged brokerage fees, and as long as you're using our program, you'll never have to pay international freight rates. So this is something we're very excited about. This summer, we will be opening up a 3PL facility in the US. I'm not going to share any firm details right now, other than it is going to open this summer, and we already have a significant amount of inventory that has been purchased to stock this facility. So it's going to make it a whole lot easier, faster, more cost effective for you guys to do business with Stormtech in the United States. In terms of decoration, we have 2 facilities, one in Burnaby, BC, so just outside of Vancouver, Canada, and we have another one in Clarksville, Tennessee. The decoration facility in Burnaby is used to service primarily the Canadian market and these states that you see in gray in Western US. The facility in Clarksville is used predominantly to service these states in red. Both of these locations are huge. Clarksville is 150,000 square feet, 180 heads, 4 automatic presses. This is really going to help us crank out a lot of decorated orders. And the beauty of it is it's the same decoration techniques on both sides of the border and one invoice in either case. Doesn't matter if it's decorated in Burnaby or Clarksville. It's only ever going to be one invoice for both the product and the deco. So these are the techniques that we're offering at both decoration facilities. Embroidery, heat transfers, and these are the premium seamless heat transfers, not the thick, chunky CAD cut heat transfers that kind of look like stickers. Laser etch patches, screen printing, which, by the way, we almost exclusively do on our waterproof bags now. Anytime you want to screen print an apparel item, we always recommend a heat transfer instead. And we also do branded zipper pulls. So if you have a client that their color is kiwi green, for example, we stock a variety of our Stormtech zipper pulls on site in a number of different colors. So maybe we don't have kiwi green in any jackets, although we do, but let's say we don't. You can swap out all the zipper pull locations. So center front, left chest, pockets. So you get a little pop of kiwi green on these products. So it's great when you're in a pinch to offer up a nice little pop of some custom trim detail. And I know that's a lot of information in terms of programs and policies to try to absorb in a short period of time. So I'm going to make everybody's lives easier. I'm going to send this interactive document in my follow-up. This is called the Quick Start Guide, and it's just a 2-pager. And from that, you can access new arrivals, all of our new products. You can click here to go to that download center that I was talking to you about, so you can access all that great imagery, content, storytelling, including the featured product flyers. Freight program is there as well as the decoration price list. Oh, this is password protected. And if you're new to the line, there's a website tutorial that you can sign up for as well. So just throw in your email address there. Every week you'll get an email that'll teach you a new way to navigate the site. So how to find tracking, how to place orders online, how to view inventory, etc. So it's kind of a cheat sheet to Stormtech. And then we're going to do a product overview. And again, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of any specific products. And again, March 23rd is when we're going to focus primarily on the new products. In this presentation, I want to focus on the categories as a whole and what they mean to Stormtech and how you should be thinking, how we recommend you should be thinking and positioning these categories. So the first one is 3-in-1 interchangeable system jackets, also called 3-in-1s or system jackets. This is a category that Stormtech really does dominate. We had a campaign this past winter, which was called Own the Cold, which is a bit brash, but it's true. We do own this category. We have the largest collection by a significant margin in 3-in-1s and heavyweight winter coats. And this is a top category, a top revenue generator for Stormtech, not just in Canada, in the US as well. Believe it or not, our #1 selling category in Florida is 3-in-1s. And if you have clients in cold weather climates, this is the type of product they're going to need to not survive, but get through the winter. Anything less really won't suffice. And I think the challenge is sometimes people get spooked by the price point. So you really have to understand the value in this category. You're getting 3 jackets in one. You have a great puffy jacket in this case here that you can use as a standalone piece, a very high-end waterproof seam-sealed soft shell here. And when you combine the two, you have a great full winter parka. And I guarantee you, if you have clients that are maybe hell-bent on buying Patagonia, North Face, some of these other brands, if you get something like this, the Epsilon system jacket in their hands, it's going to make your jobs a whole lot easier in terms of trying to legitimize Stormtech as a retail brand. This is one of the more technical aspects of our product offering, is the 3-in-1 category. Thermal outerwear, and more specifically quilted jackets. This is a top 3 category for Stormtech, and believe it or not, continues to be a top 3 growth category. So I think if there's one takeaway here, I would say that quilted jackets and quilted vests are not a flash in the pan. This is not a fad that is dissipating. This is still on the rise. This category has been embraced by the mainstream. It's not just outdoor enthusiasts. It's not just high fashion buyers. It's workwear, the workwear crowd that's buying cotton canvas options. It's the millennial crowd that's looking for sort of those oversized, larger, baffled sort of urban streetwear pieces, and everything in between. So this is a category that I highly recommend you continue to include in your pitches 3 out of 4 seasons. Okay, we have a huge collection here, and now we're just creating different sort of iterations of quilted jackets. So we have quite a few of these hybrid jackets now, where you have the quilting in the body, and then you have sort of that high stretch sleeve, and those have gone over really well as well. Soft shells, just shells in general is probably what Stormtech is best known for, probably because we are a Pacific Northwest supplier. And if any of you have been to or live in Seattle or Vancouver, it seems to rain almost every day there. But we have very mild winters. So this is a great option if you need protection from the elements, but you don't want something that's big or bulky. But also if you're in colder climates, you have the versatility to layer up with something. So you could throw on a thermal jacket or a fleece underneath, and now you've got a waterproof, breathable shell and something underneath to keep you warm. The other thing I'll mention about this category is we have top sellers, what I referenced to before as inventory assurance, at all price points. So the KSB, the Orbiter, this would be one of our more entry price point options. This is an inventory assurance style, one of those styles where we'll take a 2 to 3 year inventory position. The Patrol Softshell at a $260 retail price point is also an inventory assurance style for us. And the point I'm trying to make is there is a huge market for this type of product. Okay, and again, don't let these price points spook you. This is $260, but you're going to net out, if you're a brand new customer to Stormtech, at $130, $130. So you can sell this $260 jacket for $220. You've just saved your customer $40 off the MSRP, and you look like a rock star, and you just made over 40 points margin. So don't let these price points spook you. They're there to maximize your margin and to show value to your customers. And again, this is a huge collection of products. I love this piece. It's just very different from the other soft shells we have in the line. Dynamic cut and sew detailing, built for performance, high stretch, breathable, moisture wicking. And I love this sort of matrix print throughout. I just think it's a really cool, unique product in the soft shell category. Outdoor casual, or really there's a number of names for this category. It seems kind of counterintuitive, but a lot of people refer to this as urban casual, and the two fads, outdoor casual and urban casual, have kind of really sort of amalgamated. You don't know where one ends and the other begins anymore, and that's kind of by design. I like to call it the lifestyle category in general, because it meets all different types of lifestyles and a much larger audience. But this is the category that we've really been focusing on, or one of, for the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years. And it's a category that really allows us to kind of flex our creative muscle in terms of introducing, signature looks, signature fabrications, really unique cut and sew detailing and silhouettes. And it's this category that has really helped the brand evolve from a strictly outerwear technical line from more of a lifestyle brand. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This is the Zurich thermal jacket, super edgy look. This kind of signature look in these big chunky pockets and plackets, funky colors. But you don't know if this guy is getting dressed up to go shopping in Soho or if he's going hiking. And that's the whole concept behind the lifestyle category. It means a lot of things to a lot of people, and it appeals to a wide audience. And the same is true about fleece. Fleece, when you hear the term, most people think about this type of product category. So micro fleece or polar fleece that's designed specifically to keep you warm. But this category has probably evolved more than any other category. So you've now got high stretch performance wicking, UV resistant base layer pieces and activewear pieces. You've got the Juno knit hoodie on the far right, which is really more of an outerwear piece. It's something that you could use as an alternative perhaps to a soft shell. It's much thicker, it's warmer. So this is a category where if you have a picky customer who's very picky and wants to check a lot of boxes, you have a lot of levers to pull here in terms of the application. You've got warmth, you've got moisture wicking, you've got an outerwear option as well. So take the Andorra, for example. This is high stretch, moisture wicking, durable fabric. So this is something you could definitely use for active use if you wanted to go for a jog. There's a warmth factor as well. It's brushed fleece on the inside. So this is something you could wear as a layering piece, perhaps under a waterproof soft shell on a colder day. But it's also dressed up enough to wear in the office. So that's what I'm talking about. You can check a lot of boxes with the fleece category. Women's casual. This is another category that we've really been focusing on from a product development standpoint for the last few years, and for good reason. Women make up at least 50%, if not more, of the workforce in the US. But most of the female buyers that I work with in the industry will tell me, and they'll claim, and rightfully so, that they are still underrepresented in terms of the promotional apparel that's available to women in our industry. And there's a reason for that. Promotional apparel suppliers historically and traditionally will focus first on the men's product. So they will build out the tech pack, the silhouette, the color palette for the men's piece, and then maybe they'll taper the waist, introduce it in a bright color, and say that they have a matching ladies' companion style. And that doesn't really work. And I might be mansplaining this a little bit, so I apologize in advance, but women do not like to look like their male counterparts in the workplace. It's just a reality. So we have a design team. They're all women, and they've done a great job of putting together this collection of women-specific product that are made by women and designed for women. So we have products like the Soho cardigan, for example. It's soft, it's comfortable, it's formal enough to wear in the office. You get full coverage with that drop-down hem. This is a standalone women's piece with a heightened focus on what women need in terms of fit and features and silhouettes. And throughout the line, we try to incorporate that design philosophy. So even if it's not a standalone women's piece, we know that a lot of companies do still like that uniform look. We're changing the neckline. We're adding a hood. Maybe we're adding a hood and making it a 3/4 length option. to create more of these uniquely feminine companion pieces. So it's not just at retail, the term is pink it and shrink it. We don't do that. We're really trying to produce these unique women's pieces. In the polo category, which incidentally, we find women do not like polos, but we've got lots of options in quarter zip category. But the polo category is a category that we're probably most frequently overlooked in, which is ironic because it is our #1 category in terms of units sold. We sell more polos than any other product category in our line. And the difference maker here really is simple. It comes down to quality. If you look at what's available in the market in that $12 to $15 net price point range, invariably you will get a polo that picks right away or a collar that curls right away. The PS1, for example, here on the left-hand side, this is not our least expensive, but it's in our entry price point category. This fabric is bulletproof. I mean, not literally, I wouldn't try it, but it's got a very, very high anti-snag rating. In fact, most of our polos would have a 4 out of 5 or higher on what's called the MACE anti-snag test. So very high anti-snag ratings. In that $12 to $15 price point, you're getting a mechanical moisture wicking fabric, not a chemically treated fabric. So you can wash it, you can dry it, it doesn't lose its wicking capabilities. It's an inherent property of the yarn. In the collar, you're going to have additional interfacing in the collar stand and the collar itself, so that you don't get this, Tony Montana look where the collar falls flat on your shoulders and it doesn't curl. So that's in the entry price point category. When you get into the mid price point and the higher price point options here, again, you're getting all those features and more, including a lot of these sort of high impact visual prints, patterns, and more, enticing textured fabrics as well. Tees, quite frankly, this was a category that we did not focus on until recently. At the beginning of the pandemic, or sort of in the beginning of the second year of the pandemic, I can't believe it's been that long, we introduced a series of premium blended tees called our Torcello series, which includes short sleeve, long sleeve, Henley, tanks, 3/4 sleeves, and it was a fan favorite. We sold through all of the inventory right away, and we were pleasantly surprised. And this kind of ties back to what I was talking about before. People are not buying, or they still are, but there's a definite push to more premium options in this category, especially as people work from home. People aren't going into trade shows and handing this kind of stuff out. They're not wearing it once in an event and throwing it in the trash. They're wearing this at home. And the only way that a company can get their brand out into the world, not just on a webinar, an intercompany webinar, is if these people feel comfortable and confident enough to wear these products outside of their home environment. And the only way they're going to do that is if you get them something like this, a premium tee. So here's a perfect example. This is also part of the Torcello series. Heavier weight, nice poly cotton blend, boat neck silhouette and a collar, 3/4 length sleeve, a little drop down tail with side panel slits, much more flattering fit than you see in a lot of the women's tees. And this is indicative of the category in general for us. And there's a reason why we have introduced 6 new premium blended tees for spring 22 in a whole host of colors. This is a category we are going to be focusing on in a big way moving forward. Bags, and I promise you we're almost getting to the end here, people. As I mentioned, this is a category that we've actually introduced more products in than any other category, including just apparel in general. So not surprisingly, this is a top 3 growth category for us. We sell a lot of bags. Most of what we've introduced to date has been in this sort of outdoor waterproof category. But we have a huge collection of executive travel packs, and not featured here are the roller bags as well, which we carry. But I know a lot of you are road warriors. I was a road warrior. I'm starting to get back on the road now, and a lot of my stuff is scuffed up. Travel is rebounding in a big way. Outdoor is not going away anytime soon. So both of these categories are key for us, and should be key for all of you currently. Cooler bags. This is a newer category for Stormtech, and probably the category that many of you have struggled with the most. The big players, the big brands that produce these very high-end, waterproof, ultrasonically welded, soft-sided coolers these are some of the brands that have really kind of taken a step back from the promotional products channel. So we started with these two, the Saturna and the Salt Spring. Again, blew through all the inventory early on in the pandemic. We have recognized this as a huge growth opportunity for us. We have introduced 5 additional coolers, so we now have 7 high-end waterproof soft-sided coolers. We've introduced a plethora of colors as well. We've got the reds, the bright blues, the white, looks really sharp, and every single one of those is in stock now. So if you're looking for coolers, go to stormtechperformance.com and check out the cooler page on our website. And then we also have accessories if you're looking for price points or options to bundle. Just a quick note on offshore or custom. We had a record year in 2021, which I was surprised by, but it makes sense. People had events canceled, they pushed out for a year, so they had the time to think more creatively. A lot of people have been sort of hoarding their budgets and they wanted to buy something unique, something special. So I think that's why custom is doing so well. And also, people just don't have the stock domestically, so they might as well go offshore. We do a lot of custom work, mostly in bags, to be honest, because the minimums are low, 300 pieces. And the lead times are typically better than apparel as well. So typically about 110 days, although right now you're probably looking at 150 plus days because of Chinese New Year and because of supply chain issues. Apparel, the MOQs typically start at 600 pieces, but that's split between men's and women's. So you can do 300 men's, 300 women's, but the lead times are longer for offshore custom apparel. That's like 180 plus days. Okay, so this is just a sneak peek at what we're going to be talking about at the next webinar on March 23rd, which again, if you haven't registered, please do. You will also get, if you attend, a free sample from our Pure Earth collection. So you get a free one here and you get a free one at the next one as well. But this is kind of a sneak peek at what we've introduced and what we're going to be talking about at the next webinar. So we have 4 new sort of lightweight technical shells for spring, 4 new urban streetwear styles, or whatever you want to call it, lifestyle, outdoor, urban options for spring 22. A ton of new polos, many of which are made from recycled polyester or treated with that polygene technology that I was talking about. And again, tees, premium tees, high-end, heavyweight blended tees is a big focus for us for spring 22. So we have 4 short sleeve tees, bunch of colors there, 2 long sleeve, and these will be part of that. A lot of them will be part of that Pure Earth collection. So recycled poly and BCI cotton. And then we have the 2 new cooler bags, which I believe are in stock now, and the ice packs to go along with it. And then in June, we'll be launching sort of a mid-season launch of what we call our Polygene Stay Fresh collection. Okay, and these are the products that are have that patented treatment that allow you to wear the product many times without washing it. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to be sharing in my follow-up are these sample packs. So again, everybody who attended here today, thank you so much. You will qualify for a free sample. You can choose whatever you want, men's, women's, any color, any size, off of our Essentials sample pack. I'm also going to be sharing the Pure Earth sample pack, our cooler bag sample pack, and you can order across all 3 a maximum of 8. So if you want 2 from the Essentials, 2 from the catalog, and 4 from Pure Earth, that's fine. But it's a maximum of 8 and a minimum of 2 styles. Men's, women's, any size, any color from any of the packs, and you get a 50% discount off the regular wholesale. So that Saturna I was talking about, that's $170 MSRP. The regular wholesale price is $85. You can get it now for $42.50. Okay, so next steps. We have the attendee list. This is going to be made available to our inside sales team. They will be reaching out to all of you to collect the free sample that you want off the Essentials kit and any additional samples that you want at that 50% discount. So we've got quite a few that jumped on here today. So please give us at least, to the end of this week or probably early into next week to reach out and collect those sample orders. And over the next few days, I will also be sharing the recording of this webinar, as well as any of the sales tools, flyers, the Patagonia comparison document, the sample flyers, etc., will be shared with all attendees. In the interim, if any of you have any questions, and I'll give you a minute to write this down, you can reach out to either Tom Entwistle at at stormtech.ca, Tom E at stormtech.ca, not .com, or Matthew M at stormtech.ca. That's Matthew M at stormtech.ca. I want to thank you all for jumping on here today. I really appreciate it. We got done within the hour. And again, we'll be reaching out to you all over the next few days. Appreciate your time here today. If there's any questions, please reach out to both Tom and Matthew. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Appreciate it.